Alright, welcome to the scimax channel again. Today I'm going to follow up on the molecular simulation electronic lab notebook idea that we talked about before. And the focus today is going to be thinking about writing a report out of the notebook. And so this comes up a lot of times. You have your notebook, you may have a technical report, you might have to give an update to somebody, you might be working on a manuscript, and all of your work and data is in your lab notebook. And so today we're going to look at how do we get it out of the notebook and into that report in a way that maintains what we want. So I do this all the time. I write proposals, I write papers, I write reports, I write notes to myself, and I want to kind of explore what we did here in this molecular simulation topic. So here I'm just going to navigate back to the top and remind myself, because it's been a few days since I did this. This is a typical feature in my current job, where I work on something and then it may be several days or even weeks before I go back to a particular topic. And so we're going to just scroll through here, and let's see, we used the atomic simulation environment to compute a lattice constant. I tested out a bunch of things with SQL cache. I left this to-do item for me. I'll just note here I tried to extend it and I did not succeed. So I'm going to have to try again to see if it's possible for ORJSON to serialize nested dictionaries this way. But I'm going to leave it here, come back to it another day. We looked at running a bunch of volumes in here, and so here I had some list comprehensions. This is a plot. Again, just a reminder, the data from this plot is sort of dead. It's not accessible from this plot. This plot itself, you can see, is just a PNG file, and so there's no practical way to get the data out of it. Try data thief or something, but that's not super great. This hash cache is what I'm going to try to look at today. So the key thing that we have to understand about hash cache is this is the key that I need to load it from, so you have to remember what's in that key. And just looking at this, I see it's the energies and volumes, but it would appear, I could inspect it some more, but it might be just for this particular curve, and there's not really like other metadata associated with it. This document is the metadata, and that's a common theme in my work, that what you write, what you document, is the metadata in many cases, and that is definitely at odds with the way many people think about fair data, where the metadata is in the data. I think the documents are a lot of it. Alright, so here I can load this certainly from this document, because it's using a relative path to the SQLite database, and you can see here it's just those three, and then I worked out how to do this. Alright, we never figured out how to reload that figure. That's alright, I don't need to do it that way. Then I looked at automating the pipeline, so we wrote a function to get volumes and energies, and we did that for copper, and we did it for palladium and gold. Then I made this figure, and then down here it looks like maybe I never saved this data anywhere but in the cache. And this figure is also just a PNG. I can, you can't see the tooltip in the way OBS does. I guess it doesn't include the tooltip as part of this particular window, but I can look at here and you can see I could use this figure in a report if it was exactly what I wanted. But typically it's not going to be. So we're gonna add to this file first, and then I'm gonna write the report. And so that's a little bit of revisionist history. I'm going to have to rerun this cell so I can get to this, and this should be no problem. This should automatically reuse the hashed values. So let's see if I can just rerun this. It looks like I still have this running from before, which just tells you how infrequently I restart Emacs. I'm gonna go ahead and kill this. So this is more like my computer's turned off, restarted, and I've come back to this. I don't remember why I put restart here, but I'm gonna delete it now, and I'm gonna go ahead and rerun this cell. And we can rerun these and kind of see what comes out of it. I'll rerun this, make this, and now we have to make some decisions. So here I just plotted this. So here I'm rerunning these in the loop because it's fast, it uses the cache. Up here we have never put these anywhere, and now I have to think about what data would I put in a cache so that I can reuse the data, because to use this syntax we have to re-import that function. So let's go down here and I'm going to write hashcache.dump, and let's try cu equals let's just try this. And Palladium we'll do as PD, and AU as AU. And see if that gives me a hash. It doesn't. So that's not legal syntax. So I guess I can just get rid of the star, and this is going to save a tuple for each one of these. This should be capitalized. Alright, so that gives me a hash, and if I was being clever, and I'm going to just check it real quick here. And I'm going to load that cache. And it looks like I have 3 variables that have there's gold, copper, palladium in here. And so we can use this now to load this and make a figure in another place. And I want to do an experiment to make a table that I'm going to use in the report from here. Alright, so let's do this. Data is equal to that where I load the hash. And now let's say I'm going to import work mode. I'm going to import a table. And I'm going to do some analysis above this to construct a table. So I want a table that lists copper, palladium, gold, maybe the equilibrium volume, and the energy, let's say, to 4 decimal places. So let's run that real quick. Sims is going to be copper, palladium, gold, probably should have made the keys up here. Let's save these again. All right, that's going to give me a different hash. All right, for sim and sims d, let's say e comma v is equal to data sim, and let's just print e and make sure that looks okay. So we get that's probably v comma e. That makes more sense. And I'm going to make an equation of state from ase.eos import equation of state. EOS is let's see, print this. All right, so that's going to be V0, E0, and I'm going to ignore this last thing, so I'll just put that equals equation of state fit. So these are the two things that I want. And now I'm going to say make a table is equal to this, and here we're going to append a row to that, which is the symbol V0 and E0. And let's just print the table here. So here I have managed to aggregate, oh, I need to make this extra. I've aggregated copper, palladium, gold, the three numbers. And maybe we want to round these to something reasonable. Let's round this to 2 decimal places, maybe, and this one to 5 decimal places. All right, so I have a table here. Now I'm going to, let's look at what this outputs. Table, I think if I recall, we need data and headers to start with. So table headers equals symbol V0 E0, and let's put a caption and a name. All right. And so this is an org mode table that has a name and a caption, and I'm going to go ahead and name this block as tab EOS and rerun this. So now there is a results down here. It's gonna hopefully be more obvious why we do this when I go to write the report. So we're gonna have a table. Hopefully I'm gonna be able to reuse this table directly in a report, and we also were going to want to look at this hash so I can make a figure within. Oh, you know what? Let's make the figure here. Then I hopefully will be able to reuse that as well. Okay, let's also make a nice little figure. So from pycse.org mode, import figure. And let's have a look at what this will give me. So I'm going to need a file name and then also a caption and name here. Now, will I be able to use a figure? I'm afraid that it's going to have to be an absolute file path, because in org mode, figures have to be relative to the current file, and if you're in another place, then a relative path here won't work. Now I could save a figure here and reference it somewhere else. But this isn't the place, this isn't the way I want to do it. All these things are probably true, like for all manner of Jupyter notebooks, web-based electronic notebooks. Somehow you have to refer to where something is, and there's only a couple of ways to do it. You either do it by path, and it can be an absolute path, but that's not portable across machines. It can be a relative path, but that's not portable between documents unless they're in the same place. I'm going to stick with my original idea. We'll make the figure in the report. Okay, so let's do this. Let me make a new journal entry. This is going to be our report. And we can make let's make an abstract. Brief report on equations of state for copper, palladium, and gold. Introduction. You might, you'll type some and I'll go ahead and see if I can find an equation of state here. Maybe we'll just pick, I don't know, we'll pick this one. So that is a reference. You definitely want to be able to put references in. I'm going to put a section down here. I'm going to call it code and say tag this with no export for making a figure. So let's start with that. From pycse.hashcache import hashcache. And now I need to tell hashcache where the cache is. So this is done by this cache attribute, and I'm going to navigate to a location where it is. I think it is this one that I want, and I'm going to put in, I'm going to put a relative path here. So that should change this so that when I load something, it loads from that location. So let me go back to the README of Molsim, And down here, we can copy this line. And if that works right, then it should load. Oh, doesn't seem like it did. Cache.sqlite, that's where it is. Well, that seems like a bug, because I thought that this would have done that. And let me have a look here at this. So we're looking at hash cache. It's going to use get hash path. Oh. That's not going to work. Alright, this is a bug. What I do here is, this is a static method, and it's creating a separate hash cache from the one I'm trying to use, which does not have, which is going to use the default path, not the one that I just set. Alright, that is a bug. And certainly doesn't work like I hoped. So I'll have to fix that another day. Okay, well, live and learn. Let's see if we can get that table here. So the table was the output of a cell block, and that cell block was named tab::EOS. So I'm going to put in a syntax here where we read that one from a path, and then I'm going to put in tab::EOS, and now I think I can just run this. Maybe I have to make these underscores. And there it is. So here I'm able to reuse this output here, and then I can see, say here, the results are summarized in, and I'll use ORGraph like so. And I think I'm going to have to kind of compromise on this particular work, since I don't have a good way to load that figure. So CVT maybe? No. Let's see, org, hyperlinks. So I'm going to make a link here and see if, and then that should get here. So to do that, I'm going to do Control X, Control F to find a file. I have to go back to the molsim and then into OB Jupyter. And then this is a little bit tedious, but just looking at it, I can see it's this one. And then I can put a link here, and that will put an image in this. CVT, CVX. And now I'm going to give this one a name, Fig EOS, and we can make a caption. Like that. And down here, since I put a bibliography in, I probably need to insert the bibliography link. That will do some work and insert the correct files, and then we need to put in a bibliography style. I like unsort nat. And this is sort of, you know, the most basic looking thing. Maybe we'll add like a conclusion here. And say that it worked. Now, this is almost certainly not org toggle inline control CXV. Okay, so we can toggle that. So you see we have a mediocre figure. I wish it was better. Down here is where I would have tried to load a better figure. And it's we still could do it an old-fashioned way by opening that SQLite database and getting the query, but it's going to take too long, and this is what should have worked, so next time I'm going to try to make it work. Okay, so this is like a really bare-bones report, and it's in org mode. It works great for me, but what you might prefer is to have a PDF, and I think I need to switch to this view, and so from here we're going to just export this. So CELO will generate a PDF. It takes a little bit of time to convert this org mode file into LaTeX and then generate this PDF that has just popped up. And it's pretty decent looking. It's not wonderful, but it has a lot of things that you want. And a few things we might do is, this is a little bit blurry, that's why I didn't want to use it, but it's also been expanded. So we can set a size on this, maybe it'll only be 3 inches wide. And up here is the table of contents. We may not want it like this, so let me close this and fix a few things. Let's come here and say, make an attribute so that this is only 3 inches wide. That's going to make it smaller and less blurry. Up here, we'll put in options, table of content nil, and then also let's do make title, and I'll add table of contents where I want it. And let's run that again. Actually, let's see if the abstract shows up the way we want it as well. So we have now a nice title, we have contents, intro, conclusions, no abstract at all. Maybe the abstract is not a well-defined environment, so let's just do it manually. I'll just write this in bold and let it be that. Okay, so that's it. This isn't also isn't like the greatest placement, but eventually you might use your own templates. And otherwise, we have an introduction, we have a reference, we have a table, smaller figure that looks a little less blurry, and some conclusions, bibliography, all of this from my electronic notebook, and it worked actually pretty well, I'd say, other than uncovering a corner or edge case, bug, feature I did not want from the static method. So I think I probably have to add a default option for where to load it from and not rely on that default. That's actually easy enough to try. So I'll just see if we can do it right now. Probably there should be an option for dump as well. But I'm going to say cache equals cache.sqlite here. So this should basically preserve the default behavior, since this is the default name. And then if you want to change it, you can make this a different path. So let's go back to here. I think I have this installed in a way in editable pip install with edit, and so this should automatically work when I restart this, but it did not. Alright, so I still have a bug to fix there, and I'll report back on that, and we'll try this again another day where hopefully it works. Before I finish this up, I have not been including all of this, but you probably want your notebook to be under version control and saved in different places. I use GitHub for this, and so after these videos have been finishing, I've been doing this, but let me show you what sometimes I do here. So this is Magit, and I have today so far modified this README. There's a new directory up here. So I think I can hit stage, and then it will add that to the staged versions. This scimax journal cache, I can stage that. I can press tab and see what's changed here. So I changed that from before, and here I can add, I'll just go ahead and stage this change, and up here are things that are currently untracked, and then I can just commit this from here, and these are changes from the 6th video on writing a report. And that will commit those, and then I just press capital P, and that will push it out to GitHub, and so you'll be able to find those results out there now. This is another feature I think you want deeply integrated into your electronic lab notebook, is how do you keep things under version control, and by pushing it out to GitHub, that is simultaneously a form of backup, not the only one you should rely on, but one that makes it easy for other people to see, easy to share, and it's not difficult to set this up with permissions. So if you need this to be in a private repo or push to your own Git server for IP reasons, security reasons, etc., it's totally doable, and it's also compatible with other forms of backup. So all right, well, baby steps today, and also just introducing the idea that you can use the notebook environment not just for your notebook, but also for writing reports, including references, cross-references, and then exporting a PDF or HTML or any of the other formats that org mode is suitable for. So thanks for listening, and next time hopefully some of these bugs will be fixed.